Hello, everyone, and welcome to That Sales Show. I'm Donna Valente. I'm a sales performance and leadership coach, and this show is really for you. We're going to do something different with That Sales Show, and every week, every Wednesday at 11 o'clock, we're going to bring in some sales thought leaders, and we're going to talk about topics that range from emotional intelligence, prospecting, managing the deal, closing the deal, social networking, social selling, and all that stuff. And I thought we'd get started today with emotional intelligence and how that impacts high performance and high performance mindsets with sales. So I have brought in an expert that I'm so happy to talk with, and his name is Bill Vergantino, and he is not only an exceptional, thank you, he's not only an exceptional sales leader and has run many startup organizations and taken them into their growth stage, but he's also an athlete. So I thought he'd be a great guest. So Bill, why don't you introduce yourself to us?
Thank you,
for
Donna.
coming and
I'm
everything.
thrilled to be here on your first show. This is exciting.
Our
All the
debut.
topics you kind of rattled through get me excited. I don't know how we're going to keep this such a short period of time because we both get excited about them.
I know.
But as you said, I've been an athlete all my life. One may not be able to tell by the amount of hair I've got on my head. That was another lifetime ago. But I was a sport athlete in high school: track, baseball, basketball, and football. I went to University of Delaware and played quarterback for 4 years there. Yep, threw the ball around. Had a great experience with that. And I've been in business in software now for about 25 years, a little bit longer. Started out in medical sales. If I go back to 9th grade, I was in shoe sales, Donna. That was my first sales job.
Wow, good for you.
But a couple years in medical sales, but I've been in software sales for about 25 years now. And as you said, it's spanned 5 software startup companies, most of which were either pre-revenue or early revenue. So you're part of the team that has to figure it out and help the company go to market, which is exciting. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So why don't we start by talking a little bit about emotional intelligence and high performance, and because I think people underestimate the need to have that emotional intelligence and that headset to persist. So why don't you talk a little bit about your experience with the top performing sales organizations and sales individuals and how emotional intelligence plays into that?
Okay. Well, to me, when I think of emotional intelligence, the mind is the most powerful thing that we all have going, right? It affects us in so many ways: verbal, nonverbal, how we, act and perform. I think of emotional intelligence kind of slicing through what I view as maybe the 4 most important categorizations or characteristics of a successful salesperson or a successful company. So it doesn't stand by itself, emotional intelligence, but emotional intelligence has a role in each of these 4 other areas. So the first one, to me, it starts with the drive, okay? I don't want to be a part of a company that isn't excited about something. What are they passionate about? What are they motivated by? Is it profits or is it about some altruistic objective? But the company needs to be passionate, as does the individual salesperson. They've got to be driven on their own. They have to be personable and the ability to relate. So maybe this one out of the 4 is more tied to emotional intelligence, but you've got to be able to understand a spectrum of people that think in different ways and understand what are they motivated by, what are they concerned about, and you need to be able to understand your own emotions and how to control them and bring the 2 together in an effective interaction.
So connect to purpose, this authenticity and this drive are things that are competencies that can be developed or can't be developed?
Well, understand, I think you can guide somebody through a structure of how to be thinking about the room, okay? So whether you're a company that needs to think about the market, which effectively is the room, if you're a company, like what's going on out there, who are we potentially going to be interacting with and either partnering with or selling to or supporting. But a sales rep's got to think of the room that they're in when they're selling. I mean, we're in a room, you're in a meeting room, you're on the phone, and you've got to visualize and understand who are the individuals that are in the room, what is their background and experience, what are they motivated by, what are they concerned about, and what are they trying to accomplish. Now, if you can tap into those things, that's your starting point for whether or not you even want to consider moving forward, whether there's a relationship to be had here. Because I think of selling like a relationship. All right, it's a relationship between 2 parties that need to understand what each of them want to get out of this relationship, and determine, is there a way that we both can get that, and if so, how do we get from where we are to both realizing what it is we're pursuing. So that piece is the second of the 4 components of a salesperson. The third is knowledge. Knowledge you can coach and train, knowledge of the market, knowledge of your products, knowledge of your competition. As a salesperson, you can be trained on those things. But the two prior, maybe not as much. The drive, and do you have it? The second is, the awareness of the people and an empathy for the people in the room, right? Do you want to help them in the first place, or are you just there to serve your own purposes?
That's key. It's selling with empathy.
Yeah.
It's the secret sauce now, I think.
Yeah.
The rise of the empath.
I mean, it's a huge element because I think people often think, hey, I'm a salesperson. I'm going to figure out how to pull the wool over the eyes of this person, not make them aware I'm a salesperson. I'm going to accomplish and meet my own needs without even worrying about what it is theirs are. Well, you know what? You're going to be a way more compelling and capable sales performer if where you start is, I need to determine what this person's motivated by. And if they don't have an awareness of what they're motivated by, as a salesperson, I need to be prepared to propose what might be an issue that they're tackling or dealing with that they're not even aware is an issue, or what an opportunity is that they can capitalize on that they may not consider. And then the fourth component beyond knowledge, so we've got, the empathy and the emotional intelligence is one, right? The second one is the drive and the competitive nature that's necessary. The third is the knowledge of your product in the marketplace and all that's needed, sales process. The fourth is both relevant, to I think the world of athletics, and maybe we can discuss that another a little bit later.
Yeah.
But certainly it's what makes a salesperson an incredibly an incredible top performer versus an average or subpar, and that is the ability to take the knowledge you have, the awareness and empathy that you have with the people you're going to be interacting with, and the drive that you've got, and in real time while in a meeting, or on a conversation, be able to field what has come your way, either an objection you didn't anticipate, a new person in a room, a new competitor that you weren't even trained on, and how am I going to put this all through a process, filter it, and then put it to use in a way to get this baby back on track and moves us down the path that I wanted to go down. That real-time decision-making and using the tools at your disposal.
Yeah. And if you don't know the scale, you can't jam.
Well said.
Thank you. So we're going to take a break.
Okay.
And we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how you connect athleticism to the mindset of a sales rep.
Excellent. Great.
Okay?
Yep.
Thank you, folks. We'll be back in a few moments.
Your business is competing every day to acquire new customers and retain the ones you have already. As with any competition, you're at a disadvantage if using antiquated technology. 1950s had the Rolodex. 1980s brought contact management software. And the 1990s introduced CRM software like Siebel, which Salesforce emulated and took to the cloud. While CRM software introduced value over its predecessors, traditional CRM's time-consuming and inconsistent data capture methods turned most implementations into junk drawers of data, making it nearly impossible to retrieve relevant information quickly. 20 years is long enough. It's time to organize these junk drawers and streamline information capture and retrieval. Introducing Itaquod. Itaquod's structured, innovative CRM solution takes CRM into the 21st century and empowers each sales team member to more effectively acquire customers today, while at the same time helping others learn what change is required to more effectively acquire customers in the future. Itaquod users speak one language, both literally and figuratively, relative to critical sales information, making consistent data capture and collaborations incredibly efficient. Sales reps enter data in 80% less time, while sales managers increase confidence in forecasting and save time collaborating on pipelines with their teams. Marketing gets a clear picture of what lead generation and messaging was effective, while product and alliance teams have access to the information needed to make informed roadmap and strategic partnerships decisions. So how do we do it? Itaquod software embeds a structure for data that crystallizes what information to capture, where to capture it, and how to capture it. While at the same time, innovative structure-aware features dramatically reduce the time it takes to capture, collaborate, and consume only the most critical market-facing information. Structure meets CRM. Does your organization speak Itaquod? Perhaps it's time to put Itaquod's structured CRM software to work for you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is That Sales Show with Donna Valente and Bill Vergantino. I got it right.
Nailed it.
I'm telling you, I nailed it. So this part of the segment, we're going to talk about mindset and the connection between athletes and sales reps and that high-performance mentality.
Wow.
I know it's a lot, but you can do it.
It's a topic that's close to my heart, I'll tell you that.
I know.
Yeah, so you want me to just dive in?
I do.
All right, great. So having been an athlete all through college and playing 4 sports, and then going on to play football at University of Delaware.
Inducted into the Hall of Fame, by the way.
Thank you, Donna. It's because of the great team around me, that's for sure.
Sure.
But one of the things, I was always athletic, and I was always enjoyed sports. I enjoyed competing, in all ways.
Yeah.
But I found myself gravitating to team sports because I loved the ability for a group of people to come together with leadership, guiding and giving a vision for what it is we together we're going to be seeking and going after.
Yep.
What are we trying to accomplish? What are we trying to be? And a team has a culture, it has a heartbeat, and it's composed of people, but you're a group of people going after one common objective. And when you find people to be on that team that are great individual contributors, but that understand that they themselves can't make the team be a success, they've got to work in concert with other people in other positions. Yeah. And together, if you guys are singing as a team, knowing what each other's going to be doing before that person, well, now you're on to something. And if you all want success and are driven for success, more for your teammates and the greater good of the team than even your own individual success, now you've got something.
Like the Eagles and what Peterson did.
Actually, they have a character and a culture that ties into that perfectly.
Yes.
And I think magic happens when that occurs. And I get chills actually describing it because I do. So when I graduated from college and I decided what do I want to do in my career, immediately I got into sales because it tapped into the competitive nature. But I ended up wanting to be a part of a company that was comprised of people that had crystal clear understanding of what it is they were trying to go after, and where everybody came and wanted to perform, and they wanted to look around and perform for the next person and go, all right, I want to make Donna a success. And if Donna's going to be a success, she's here and she's sacrificing. It's only going to happen if I do my job.
Yeah.
Now, for me to do my job, I've got to know what Sally's doing, and I need to know what Tom's doing over there. So when I think of a company is just that. You need to find a company that has a vision, a clarity, an objective.
And a commitment and sales-centric.
Oh,
it has to start from the top, that commitment.
So when you talk about sales-centric, even if you're a nonprofit, okay? So nonprofits might go, hey, we're an organization and we're not all about being salesy. And well, I often go, if you're, no matter what your objective is, whether it be to sell and drive profits or whether it be to help more people in the world than anybody has ever done, you're an organization. And in order to do and accomplish your objective, you need to exist. And in order to exist, you either need to raise money through donations or you need to drive sales.
It's all revenue.
Acquiring customers and retaining customers or acquiring donations and retaining donations, or no matter what it is, that is first and foremost.
Yeah.
So, when you think of not only as a company similar to a team, but let's take the next step. If you're a team, how do you get successful? Well, you prepare. You prepare before you get on the playing field. And it starts with an understanding of the teams you're going to be encountering, and most relevant, maybe the next team you're going to be going up against. Who are they? Who are the people on the team? How do they think? What are they capable of? What are their strengths? How are we going to take advantage of their weaknesses? How are we going to prepare ourselves to be as strong as possible? Now they get on the field. A team is ready to perform. The coach sets them loose. A key element of an incredibly high-performing team is one where you get out there and chaos starts happening, and the plan goes out the window, and you realize that they were prepared for you maybe in a way that you didn't anticipate. Yeah. How are you going to respond to it? How are you going to put the information that you're receiving through a filter and alter your path? Yeah. Well, that's a company as well, and that's a sales rep. A sales rep needs to be trained, prepared, able to go into a meeting, understand the audience, who they're competing against, what it is they're trying to deliver value around, and how it's going to help the audience. But then when somebody says something that they weren't prepared for, or somebody walks in the room with a political dynamic you didn't anticipate, how are you in real time going to get it back on track?
You got to be able to dance in that moment.
Got to be able to dance.
You do.
So sports teams and both, how they're comprised and how they perform is exactly the same as a company. And I think when you get the magic, it's like the Eagles. Yeah. It's like the team I had at University of Delaware. It's like my company, where people are given the ability through transparency of communication to know what it is you're all chasing.
Yeah.
Maybe more importantly, it's to be told what your role in it is and how that is going to help the company or the team achieve its objectives.
So with a startup,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
You're on a shoestring budget,
Yep.
and there's a lot of chaos.
Yep.
So what does successful chaos look like, or what advice do you have for them so that they can manage that chaos in a way that's still going to be very productive and get the revenue in?
Well, I'll tell you, one thing is I talk to my team every day about the fact that when you wake up and you put your foot on the floor, you have something to bring a team and a company. And for you to decide that it's my company you want to be a part of and to be a team member of, you can only make that educated decision that this is where you want to invest your time and energy if you understand what it is we're doing, what your role is, what we're going after, what others around you are doing. So I get people excited, I believe, in part because they want to be a part of something. And they want to have an impact and put their fingerprint on it, right? So it starts with that. You talk about empathy and emotional intelligence quotient. Well, that's with your own team as much as it is with going to market and trying to sell something, right? But I think with a startup on a shoestring budget, one of the most critical aspects, once they know their role and they know what we're going after, the reality is we don't know everything as a startup. You've got to learn. So what you need to set up is a line of communication that's efficient. Just like a team can communicate and call plays so that everybody knows what they're doing very quickly, so does a company need to have an awareness of, A, we're communicating efficiently, and how are we going to do that? What language are we going to be speaking? But beyond that, there needs to be a process that enables data and information to come back into the company. Startup, you have a theory. It's like, this is what we think, and this is who we think we're going after, and this is why we think they're going to love us. And then you learn either that that's right and you validate it, or you've got to evolve.
Well, that's awesome. And I think, like an athlete, individual contributors come on, but there is that glue that holds everybody together, whether it's the quarterback, whether it's Peterson. You have to be able to go in, put your foot down, and say, I'm here for the greater good of the team, and not like some individual kind of people that are just looking at their own numbers. You see that in sports.
I'm turned off by it completely. Now, some people are drawn to the performer first and foremost. To me, I think I've seen the other side of the curtain where magic happens when people are selfless and they perform. And I don't think you can be a magical performing individual or team or company unless you've got an element of selflessness in you and wanting for the greater good.
That's awesome. And a great pause period. So we're going to go to commercial break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk a little bit about Itaquod. It's probably going to be, I took a demo of it, I saw it, and it's probably going to be the next killer app for CRM. So I'm really excited to hear you share how that evolved and what you're going to do in the market over the next couple of years.
Thank you.
So
Great.
Thanks, and be back. Stay tuned.
RVN TV is a platform for people of any industry to share their story. Over 285,000 viewers are tuning in to RVN TV shows monthly. We guarantee a great experience that you'll be sharing with everyone you know while increasing your personal and company's brand awareness. But what is your brand? According to Forbes, it's a combination of your logo, your product, your design and feel, and your personality. Did you know that aside from being a guest, we offer even more opportunity to boost your brand? Adding your company logo and website on screen during your interview will allow viewers to recognize your brand instantly. Incorporating images and video clips is another great way to showcase your product during your live segment. Let viewers see how good you really are. And most importantly, there's you and your interview. For less than the cost of a newspaper, direct mail, or a magazine ad, you can leave our studio and within 48 hours have a permanent digital copy of your live segment to link to your social media, embed into your company website, or use in email marketing. Investing in your brand is so very important, and we can't wait to have you as a guest.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Donna Valente, and this is That Sales Show, and I have my special guest, Bill Vergantino. So we're going to start the last segment talking a little bit about Itaquod, and it's a new CRM, and I want you to give us your evangelist story.
Wow, what an opening and an opportunity, Donna. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so you had introduced earlier that I'd had sales background, and like you said, I started in inside sales. Excuse me. I went to the field. I was sales management, VP of sales in 2 different companies.
Now you're just showing off.
Well, no. I think I want to show the ability to relate to each
Yes.
role within a sales cycle, and also we navigated, in my experience, many different sales models, and I was a CEO for 12 years, and I worked with marketing and product management, and while doing that, I was trained by some great coaches on the athletic side, which I was able to pull from, and great training on the sales process side.
Yeah.
And I got to use a number of CRM systems.
Yeah.
All have some really nice capabilities.
And that's sales enablement, right? It's evolved over time.
It has evolved over time.
changed.
I mean, you talk about evolving over time. I can't believe that CRM, you throw out CRM, customer relationship management, for those that don't know.
Yes.
It's been around for 25 years, a quarter of a century. So it was the early 90s when it first got introduced.
Man, we're old.
Yeah, well, we're dating ourselves a little bit because prior to that, if we go back to the 50s, you had the Rolodex, the paper,
now you're getting a
right?
little-
Now, I don't even remember that one,
Yeah,
but you had contact management system, ACT, Goldmine, people certainly
Right.
are familiar with that.
Right.
And then you had the evolution of CRM, which really introduced, hey, how am I going to not only capture information that describes a person or a company, but also maybe a sales opportunity or a lead that I'm working. And there's a lot of merits with what CRM has done, but there's been, over the last quarter of a century, and me using all these different CRMs, there's a lot of pain and challenges that are presented by what those CRMs do not do.
Yeah.
So what we tried to do was take a step back and say, okay, look, if we're going to introduce a CRM and an evolution to CRM, we want to call it something different. We want to acknowledge that CRM did some good things, so that's why CRM is in the category name that we've created, but we want to augment it a little bit. So it's structured CRM is what we think Itaquod is. Structured CRM has a number of kind of components, if you will, 3 components, as a matter of fact. One is it includes traditional CRM. It includes how do I manage information about a contact, an account, an opportunity, a lead, okay? But what it begins to introduce is an embedded structure or language, if you will, for what is the behavioral information, the information of the emotions, or what is going on in the mind of the person that I'm interacting with as a part of the sales cycle, or the company and what is motivating the company to want to do something.
Yeah.
So we wanted to marry and
Business
introduce that.
drivers,
Business
emotional.
drivers, exactly. Why are they doing anything in the first place? Who are they considering and why?
Yeah.
What is the expectations for return on investment and results? And then we wanted so one of the major challenges that addresses with CRM today is that sales organizations and companies are trying to figure out through training, how do I get every rep, every salesperson to capture consistent, relevant information in the most efficient way possible so that all salespeople are performers, and so that we can learn and summarize from the data in a way that we can put it to use as a business.
Yeah.
That's challenging. So CRM allows for a lot of ways to capture data, but it's way too flexible. So we wanted to embed a structure that we call, which crystallizes what information do they need to capture when they log in, give them guidance on how they can go about asking questions to capture that information.
Oh, that's awesome.
And clarity on where do I put the data. So if I've captured some incredible information about their business motivation drivers, features and functions they want in a solution, where am I going to put this as a rep so that every rep is capturing the same data and putting it in the same location? So that's the structure, data structure. What information to capture, how to capture it, and where to put it. Now we wanted to tackle what is really pain for people that use CRM. One is, I'm a sales rep and I want to do well for the company and capture the right data, but it takes forever.
Yeah.
I don't want to type in for an hour or two at the end of the day.
Yeah. This piece you're going to love. Guys, you're going to love this. This is like the pinnacle.
So, I've been there. Either first, I get in an office early in the morning, or I'm late at night typing in information, or I take in some of my selling time to get the data in that's needed. So why type it? I mean, let's speak it. So we wanted to create the structure and then enable reps to speak into the system so that they can capture data at 300 words a minute when most of us can only type at 40 words a minute with a lot of errors at that. So speed to capture data was one of the things we wanted to tackle.
Awesome.
The second thing was, who are you capturing data for? Well, if you're an effective company, you are having data captured so that the rep is able to work a sales cycle more effectively to acquire business, but you're also capturing data so that the sales management can consume and understand how to coach and evolve and collaborate with the salesperson so they can be more effective. You have marketing wanting to understand parts of the data that's being captured so they can determine how do we message more effectively or generate better leads. And then you've got the people building the products or services that you're trying to sell going, what do we do next? What is needed? How are we going to become more compelling? Why are we losing?
Product roadmap.
Product roadmap. So what we wanted to do was make it incredibly easy to not only capture the right data, but consume it, whether I'm the sales manager, marketing, or product management, or the sales rep.
Yeah.
And then lastly, this is something that no CRM in the world can do, has done. The dreaded pipeline review between a manager and a salesperson is something that neither of them look forward to. I mean, they don't. The manager, the poor person, has got to produce a forecast that they can run the business on, and they're trying to understand what has been captured across their 5, 7, 10 reps so that they can give guidance and input on how that rep can manage the deal. Well, it ends up happening that everyone prepares for this pipeline review, and the hour's gone before they can bat an eye. And the rep got no input from their manager, and the manager had to default to just, because they couldn't easily find and consume information about the sales cycle, they had to ask, hey, is this deal going to close? Which deals are going to close? Because I need to prepare a forecast. So we've built into the system an ability to collaborate between manager and rep in a way that's insanely efficient. And you don't even have to have a pipeline review for a manager to collaborate and give input to reps on their entire pipeline. But if you do have a pipeline, both parties are working from the same list of feedback that has been sent from within the CRM system so that a rep knows what actions they need to take, the manager knows what actions have been taken, and they both can look at them together to understand quickly how can we make this exchange between us as productive as possible.
Awesome. Now I want to give you an opportunity to, everybody should see this product. Any sales leader, sales team, whoever. Why don't you share with everyone how they can get a demo or reach out to you and learn more about Itaquod.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
So Itaquod is actually Latin for the phrase, so what? So what is one of the best questions that I typically ask my salespeople when they tell me why they think they're going to close a deal. So remember Itaquod from that perspective, but also Itaquod is an acronym, a memory tool. Each letter standing for different pieces of information that a company and a rep should be thinking about when working a lead in an opportunity. So Itaquod, you can get information on us at www.itaquod.com, and it's ITAQUOD.com. We've got a LinkedIn page. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. So please take a look at us. We'd be happy to give you a pre-recorded narrated demo if you're not ready to talk to us, or to get on the phone with you and have a discussion and or meeting with you where we can show you the product and talk through how and if it could be a good fit for your company.
That's awesome. Thank you so much,
Thank
Bill.
you, Don. It was a
Everybody
pleasure.
tune in next week, 11 o'clock Wednesday, and we're going to be talking about lead generation.
Good luck with
Thank
your
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.